First up, Tier 1, the Ultra Budget Zone. We're talking under $100 here. In this bracket, you'll mostly find the GT 1030, the legendary RX 580 on the used market, and the GTX 750 Ti. Now, to be honest, this is the survival tier. For gaming, you are strictly in the esports lane. Valorant, CS2, maybe some League. At 1080p low settings, you're totally fine. But try to launch a modern AAA game? Yeah, it's either going to crash or give you a cinematic 15 frames per second. It's a struggle. Editing? Well, you can cut and trim 1080p footage, but your render times will give you enough time to go out, buy groceries, and cook a 3-course meal. And 3D rendering? Just don't. Blender will look at that limited VRAM and just say, huh? If you're stuck in this tier, hunt for an RX 580 8GB variant. It absolutely bullies the 1030. The big brand advice: please, for the love of tech, do not pair these with a Ryzen 7000 or a 14th Gen i5. That's like putting wooden wheels on a Tesla. It's a placeholder, guys. Use it until you save some bucks for a 3060. Tier 2, the entry 1080p level. This is where we see the Intel Arc A380, the RX 5500 XT, the GTX 1660 Ti, and the RTX 3050 6GB. Gaming here is actually decent. You're hitting medium to high settings on older titles. On brand new 2026 games, you're sticking to low or medium. The Arc A380 is the weird sleeper hit here. Why? Because it has an AV1 encoder. If you're a budget streamer, this is your secret weapon. It's punchy and efficient. For 3D work, I'd lean toward the RTX 3050. Even with only 6 gigs, CUDA support is just more stable for apps like Cinema 4D. An i3-13100 or a Ryzen 5 5500 is the perfect match. You don't need a monster CPU to maximize these cards. You just need something that actually works. Alright, now we're in the 1080p sweet spot, Tier 3. This is where the Intel Arc B580, the RX 7600, and the RTX 5060 live. This is the no-compromise 1080p experience. You want ultra settings at 60 FPS? Done. You want 144Hz in esports? Easy. For the editors out there, you can actually handle a 4K timeline now, as long as you use proxies. The RTX 5060 has the latest NVENC encoders, making your exports feel like they're on steroids. But wait, the RTX 3060 12GB is still here, and in 2026, it is still the budget king for 3D rendering. Why? 12 gigs of VRAM. In Blender, VRAM is king, and the 3060 is the king of the peasants. Grab a Ryzen 5 7600, it's a perfectly balanced marriage. Or if you're a fanboy, get an i5-13400F. That should be a perfect match. Tier 4, we're finally moving up to 1440p. This is the territory of the RTX 5060 Ti, the RX 9060 XT, and the RTX 4070. If you like the phrase ultra settings, welcome home. With DLSS 4 or AMD's FSR 4, 1440p feels like butter. We're talking professional-grade performance here. Multiple color-corrected layers in Premiere? No lag. For 3D rendering, that 16 GB of VRAM on the 5060 Ti or the 9060 XT is vital. Complex geometry and high-res textures won't make your system sweat anymore. Go 5060 Ti for AI and 3D work, but if you're just a pure gamer, the RX 9060 XT usually offers better raw value. An i5-14600K or a Ryzen 7 7700X, anything slower and you're basically holding your GPU back from its true potential. Don't be that guy. Tier 5, the high end. This is for the people who want native 4K or high refresh 1440p. We've got the RTX 5070 Ti, the RX 9070 XT, and the 4080 Super. The 5070 Ti is an absolute monster for ray tracing. If you want Cyberpunk to look like a literal movie, this is it. For video editors, we're talking 6K or even 8K production. The dual encoders mean your render times go from lunch break to blink and you miss it. 3D artists, cycles renders that used to take hours now take minutes. It's basically a productivity cheat code. The 5070 Ti is the best all-rounder, but the RX 9070 XT is the value king if you don't care about ray tracing. You must pair these with a 9800 X3D or an i7-14700K. You need that single-core speed or you're just leaving frames on the table. Don't be that guy. And finally, Tier 6, the extreme enthusiast, the RTX 5090 and the 4090. This is the no-compromise tier. Full path tracing in Alan Wake 2 at 4K Ultra? Yeah, it does that for breakfast. This isn't just a gaming card, it's a studio-level production tool. 8K raw footage? Effortless. For 3D freelancers, this is the industry standard. 24 to 32 gigabytes of VRAM means you can build entire movie-quality worlds. The RTX 5090 is the undisputed king. Only buy a 4090 if it's on a massive clearance sale. But remember, do not, I repeat, do not pair this with anything less than a Ryzen 9 9950X3D or an i9 14900K. Anything less will leave significant GPU performance on the table.
At this point, you might be thinking,
Hey bro, you have forgotten a lot of GOAT cards to add in your tier list, like 1080, 2080, 3090 Ti, or the 6600 XT, blah blah blah.
actually I haven't. You know this is a very short video just to give you a rough idea how much performance you could achieve in different budget zones. So that's it. Search your card's benchmark on Google and you'll know how good or bad the card is. See you in the next one. Till then, peace.